What do you do when your Facebook ads just aren't working? Are there steps you can take to revive your campaigns and improve your results? Well, you're in the right place because in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can take your poor performing ads and tweak them to get better results. If you're in a situation where your ads have suddenly stopped working, maybe you had a glorious ROAS a few months ago and you just can't seem to get the numbers back up, I'm here to tell you that it's not hopeless and there are actually a ton of things you can do to improve your performance. Now, I've audited a ton of ad accounts and I see a lot of the same problems, so I'm going to cover in detail exactly what I look for when examining an account. But before we get started, I'd appreciate an early thumbs up because I know you'll get a ton of value out of this video. And if you're new, please consider subscribing because I'm always releasing new videos to help e-commerce brands like you with your Facebook advertising. So let's not waste any more time and dive right in. So one of the first things I look for is, are there customer reviews in your ads? With this one, what I'm looking for are quotes and testimonials from past customers. Testimonials are working way better right now than ever before. If there's one thing that I always make sure that I do when writing ad copy is put in one testimonial in there. So Facebook will give you up to 5 text options, right? Just grab a review from your past customer, put 5-star emojis, make sure you're using quotation marks and paste the entire review in there. Then add a hyphen and the person's first name with the last initial. Short copy works great, but long copy is just phenomenal, especially if it's a glowing review. Right now, our clients that are spending the most are using testimonials in all their ads where customers are raving about their products. So this is something that is super effective. Next, do you have a variety of ad types? By this, I mean, are you testing images, videos, GIFs, carousels with images, videos, and GIFs? If you're only running image ads in your campaigns, you may want to add some video content in there. I honestly can't think of a good reason not to use video in your ads. In general, a video is so much more dynamic than a static image, and this is a trend that is performing really well across the board, which is something that I've touched on in my last video. Your goal is to give people as real of an experience as possible so that they know what it's like to own your product. What are its standout features? Why do people like it? How does it make them feel?
I totally understand the hate, but man, I love this shit.
The goal of advertising is to make people feel something so strong that they feel compelled to take action.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it!
Carousel ads are another format that you may want to try if you're struggling to get results. I see a ton of success using carousels on all the client accounts where we're spending a lot of money. Are you using dynamic creative? Again, another feature that I've preached about at length on this channel. If you want my magic formula for the dynamic ad setup that I consistently use to generate results, you can check that out in my last video where I talked about the Power 5 strategy. That video will be linked in the description box below. Are you using campaign budget optimization? This is something I've talked about extensively in previous videos, so for the sake of not being overly repetitive, I won't go into detail about that here. But you're free to check out any of my previous videos, which I'll link in the description box below, because I talk about CBO to death. But that being said, definitely take advantage of CBOs if you're not already. Do you have high audience overlap across your ad sets? This is a huge one and probably the thing I see most consistently across all the accounts that I audit. And give me a second and I'll show you exactly how you can check if your audiences are overlapping, because there is a way to check that a lot of people don't even know about. So if you're one of those people who has 24 campaigns and 30 ad sets within each of those campaigns, this tip is for you. So chances are that you have all these campaigns and ad sets running because you've duplicated winning campaigns or ad sets in hopes to either reach another segment or to duplicate the success you were seeing on other ad sets or campaigns. And that's perfectly fine when you're spending 2 pennies a day. But if your goal is to scale, which it very well should be, then you're ultimately shooting yourself in the foot because there is a 100% chance you are competing with yourself. And Facebook is a smart platform, so it won't allow you to do that. When you have high overlap among your audiences, what will happen is Facebook analyzes all the audiences you're targeting across your entire account. So this is at the account level, and it will boot some of your audiences out of the auction to prevent you from competing with yourself. This is why on some days you'll see a super high ROAS for one ad set, and the next day it will be really low for the same ad set. You don't have that consistency because your rate of overlap is very high. So how do you check your overlap rate? You'll go to your ad set, and right below it, you should see an option that says Inspect. Click that and it will open up this panel where you can see data about your frequency, audience saturation, but what we want to look at is overlap down here. So I can see that this audience has some overlap over the last 7 days, but not too much. Inevitably, you are going to see some overlap if you're scaling, and that's fine, but you want to aim for an overlap rate that's below 10%. Anything below 10% is considered healthy. Once your percentage starts to climb above 20, 30, or even 40%, then you have a real problem and you'll want to consolidate your ad sets to get better performance. Do you have a simplified or complex account structure? So this one goes hand in hand with what we just talked about with audience overlap. Ideally, you want to have a simplified account structure, which means one campaign for each type of audience that you're targeting, meaning you should break out your top, middle, and bottom of the funnel into their own campaigns rather than hundreds of campaigns or ad sets, because one, this is way easier to manage. 2, this reduces redundancy, and 3, this is overall a much more efficient and effective way for Facebook to optimize your ads and get you better results. I've talked about this in my previous video as well as part of the Power 5 strategy, which you can check out here. Also, real quick before we get to the next tip, I want to invite you to book a free strategy and discovery call with me. I did have some technical issues with the website recently, so if you sent us a message in the last 4 to 6 weeks, there's a good chance we didn't receive it. But everything is working now, so if you're an e-commerce brand and you've been running ads for a while and are looking to scale, or you're doing at least $20,000 in monthly sales, either organically, paid, or both, or you just want to take your Facebook ads to the next level, my agency has a track record of getting incredible results for clients just like you. On our call, we'll review your ad account, I'll audit your account and give you my personal recommendations on how you can optimize your campaigns and give you tips on how you can improve your overall digital marketing funnel to drive more sales. We're looking to take on a select few online stores to work with and help you scale to your next sales target. So if this is something that you'd be interested in, click the link in the description box below to book a call with me because we would love to work with you. Have you separated out creatives for Instagram stories into its own ad set? This one is actually very interesting and actually affords you some scale, and I'll explain why in just a second. When you have a creative that is designed specifically for stories, the vertical 9:16 format, maybe a piece of user-generated content, if you have creatives that fit this placement, you may want to try running those in separate ad sets with only Instagram stories placements to see better performance. Now, you can group these together as part of the same ad because Facebook does have a feature where you can customize your asset for the different placements. But when you do this, Facebook won't always deliver your customized ads in stories placements, and it can sometimes even hurt performance when you make those customizations. So what you want to do instead is create your Instagram stories ads in their own ad sets with manual placements so that those ads are actually shown. And along with that, the CPMs for stories are typically also cheaper than the newsfeed, so you're able to further scale by doing this. Are you using value bidding? Now, this is an optimization strategy that some of you will see in your ads manager and some of you will not. If you do see value bidding in your ads manager, that means you've spent enough on ads where the algorithm is able to optimize in a way to get you more money rather than more conversions. Now, I know that sounds like the same thing, but it's not. So the default setting is where Facebook delivers your ads to get you the most conversions, but that doesn't necessarily mean you get the largest purchases. On the other hand, optimizing for value tells Facebook to deliver your ads to get you the highest purchase value, thus maximizing your return on ad spend. It's a subtle difference, but an important one. An example is where you get a bunch of $20 purchases, $30 purchases, and a few $50 purchases when optimizing for conversions. This is because Facebook is only focused on getting you more conversions regardless of the value of each purchase. But if you have the option to switch to value bidding, this could be a game changer because what will happen is Facebook optimizes to get you larger conversions so that you may get 1 or 2 conversions that are $100 or $500. That's why it's called value bidding, because the algorithm will focus on conversions of higher value rather than volume. Is there an underlying issue with your ads or your website? Now, let me first preface this by saying that there are 2 main components to advertising successfully on Facebook. The first is, do you actually have a solid landing page and website that is designed to convert traffic into sales? That's number 1. The second thing is, do you have structurally sound, scalable campaigns? You need both to work, and you cannot be successful if you have one without the other. So having said that, I'm going to talk about how you can determine which area it is that you need to improve by asking one simple question. Do your ads have a high link CTR but low conversion rate on your website? Because sometimes your ads can be amazing, right? You're doing all the right things, using best practices, but somehow you just can't convert them into sales. And this is the most common for new brands if you just launched a new store and you're fairly new to advertising, because it becomes a lot easier to generate sales once Facebook has some data points about your customers rather than having Facebook find customers right out of the gate for you, like out of thin air when you just opened shop 4 days ago. So that's number 1, which is that you are going to have to invest a bit more time initially in testing different creatives, copy, and audiences. And be patient while you do this because you need to establish proof of concept. Number 2 is, how do you know if your ads are the issue or your store that needs work? To figure that out, I look at your click-through rate or CTR. So there are different click-through rates available in Facebook ads reporting, but the specific metric that I'm interested in here is the link CTR. Link CTR is how many times people clicked on your ad and over to your landing page. This is different from CTR all, which tracks all clicks on your ad. So if someone just clicked on your ad to read the caption, to like your ad, or play a video, those would all be tracked as part of CTR all. But we're not interested in all clicks. We are only interested in clicks where people were taken to your website. So I click on an ad and the ad takes me off Facebook to the brand's website. That is called a link click. And that's what I'm looking for, because those are the people with high intent and want to take the next steps to learn more about your product and potentially buy your product. So I look for a CTR of at least 1% in conversions campaigns on Facebook. I'm not talking about your reach, engagements, or traffic campaigns here. Conversions. So if I see a 1.5 CTR for an ad in a conversions campaign, I know that that ad is working because people are clicking on it and the ad is taking people to a landing page. Now, the next thing I look for is whether there have been any add to carts, any initiate checkouts. If you've spent a substantial amount, and by substantial, I mean at least $100 on that one ad. If you've spent $100 on a single ad and there haven't been any add to cart events or checkouts initiated, that tells me that there is an issue with your landing page because the ads are doing the job of getting traffic to your website, but those same people are dropping off without performing any other actions once they arrive on your site, which means you need to audit your site and see what's going on there. Take a look at the copy on your landing page. Is it congruent with your ads? Do you have a lot of product photos or videos on your landing page? Are there customer reviews and testimonials to show people what others are saying about your product? These are all things that you absolutely need to have in place to convert that cold traffic into paying customers and to boost your website conversion rate, which is something that I will get to in a second. And it always frustrates me when people spend hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars advertising on Facebook, but their website is poorly designed, not optimized for e-commerce. And I hate to say it, but it looks like crap. Because then you are literally just burning through cash because you are still paying for that traffic and sending people to what is essentially a broken site, which in other words means you're hemorrhaging cash. And that's why your ads aren't working. So having said that, let's talk about what a good conversion rate is off Facebook. So off Facebook, a conversion rate of at least 3 to 5% is what you want to aim for on your site. The best websites have a conversion rate of at least 3 to 5%, so you want to be within that range. Obviously, this varies depending on the industry, but generally speaking, 3 to 5% is standard for most e-commerce stores. So if your numbers are lower than this, then you have some work to do in terms of improving your copy, creative, your offer, and further optimizing your website. So those are a few quick hits and things that you can integrate to revive your ads if you're struggling and not seeing the best results. There's so much more that you can do, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So if you want a part 2, be sure to like and subscribe because if we can get this video to 50 likes, I'll do a part 2. Don't forget that if you would like to book a discovery call with me, just click the link in the description box below. As always, if you learned something or got value from this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, and comment down below any questions that you have. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!